Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you might be watching. If you are watching the replay, hashtag replay for me, and let me know from the wellness wheel sections we have gone through so far, which do you feel like you might need some rounding out with? And so I will review those really quickly. So we started out with joy, spirituality, and creativity, and then we moved into finances, career, and education. Then last week was health, physical activity, and home cooking. So I feel like those were ones that a lot of times we go to when we think about how do we become more healthy, what is wellness. But today we're going to be going over home environment, relationships, and social life. And so when we talk about the wellness wheel, and as we think about what components of our health do we need to round out more, do we need to make more balanced in some ways, I think the latter of these three that we're going to be talking about today are often overlooked. A lot of times we think about, okay, well, what am I consuming? Well, what am I doing physically? But there's so much more than that. And I want to talk about how these things kind of mesh and blend into different areas. You know, when you think of a wellness wheel, and if any of you guys went to the link that I had provided a couple of videos before about different sections. Do you guys remember the game Parcheesi? And remember how it was a little round wheel, and then you had like little wedges that you would put in there, right? And that's a lot of times how we think about a wellness wheel is, you know, what are my wedges? How do I make those wedges be completely filled to where we're not having this bumpy wheel that we're trying to go through and get through life on? But, you know, I want you to understand too that it's not quite the way Parcheesi has it presented in a sense. And so know that your home environment will also affect your relationships in that environment. Also think about your physical activity and how is that dependent upon home cooking, you know? So it's more than just one section. It's knowing that the different sections all collectively work together and against each other, in all honesty. And so for home environment, what I want you to think about is not the relationships inside of the home environment, although that is huge to home environment. I want you to think about for a second the physical aspect of your home environment. Is it a place when you walk in that you want to be? Aesthetically, is it organized? Is it clean? Is it structured? Okay. So I will tell you, most of you guys know, being a military family, this is our 11th or 12th move. I honestly lose count. But with that being said, every place that we go, furniture is in different areas, right? I mean, so I have a dresser bottom that's supposed to have this hutch on the top of it that is being used for a TV stand right now in my living room. When in the last place that we were at, it was a matching piece together. And from that, we were able to utilize the bottom as a dresser for one of the boys. And so know that when you walk in and how you feel is going to play a role in the dynamics of your home, okay? So in our group coaching that I do with Time and Compass, one of the things that we were talking about this past week was meal prepping, and more specifically having organized areas, and having those organized areas set you up for success because you want to be in those areas. Okay, so if your whole kitchen looks like the drunk drawer, are you gonna want to get in there and like make a meal on Tuesday night? Are you gonna want to get in there and meal prep on a Saturday afternoon? I don't know about you guys, but like for me, that's a negative, right? So knowing that these places can have organization and they can have structure, and that will set you up for success for your goals. So I don't know if you guys saw a while back, I had posted about my linen closet and how everything was just stacked on top of each other. and how every time I, just opened up the closet to have to change sheets or get a towel or whatever have you, I had this just chaotic sense about me. And so because of that, it created something that I didn't want to do laundry. I mean, who really wants to do laundry? Let's be honest, right? But with that, I really, really didn't want to open that closet. Okay. And so since I've structured that and my husband's put some shelves in there, I feel like I open the door and it's this peace that's with me. Okay. And so I want you to think about, in your home environment, what brings you peace? What brings you joy, like we talked about at the very beginning of the Wellness Wheel series. And so there is peace in organizations on different aspects. And so I know all of our kitchens look different. All of our linen closets look different. All of our under-the-counter bathroom sinks look different. But if those areas were more organized, would you have a more peaceful relationship with those areas when you had to go and get toilet paper from underneath the sink? For example, would you be less likely to be distracted and start organizing underneath there before you went and did what you really were going to do and spent 20 minutes on something that you got sidetracked with, right? Okay. So the other thing is, I love to do what I call like a 2-minute cleanup and run through. So what usually happens is, in the mornings, we are out and we are about. And I know most of you guys are exactly the same. And so after the kids get all settled in to the car and they're safely in the car, okay, I come back into the house and I give myself 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, I declutter as much as I can. Okay, so I take our Bible off of our kitchen table. I put it back where it needs to go on the shelf. If I have anything that the kids forgot to put away in the dishwasher or in the sink, I put those down and into the dishwasher. I will make a sweep and a run through with just like their bathroom. Is there toothpaste everywhere? Or potentially, did they decide to change their clothes 3 times? And I kind of just push everything back kind of where it needs to go, to where the next time that I come into that house, I will have a sense of peace. I will have a sense of calmness. Things look organized, things look structured for me, and I don't have to feel like I have to come in and get to work on the reoccurring, always cleaning of the house, right? And so if you do have littles, or if you do have, messy ones that you live with, know that this might be a tip for you, just to come back through and do a 2-minute, and you will be surprised how much you can pick up and clean up and put away in 2 minutes. Now, I only give myself that much. I'm not going to get distracted and spend 20. I have 2. I get it done, and it makes me feel accomplished when I leave too. Okay? And so, home environment. And we talked about how home environment interconnects with relationships a little bitty bit, but I want to kind of go into that a little bit more. Okay? And so the relationships that you are in, that are in your home, these are the most important relationships in a lot of aspects. These are the ones that we are going to spend the most time with. These are a lot of times the ones that we have hard times with, right? Because we are spending so much time with them. We are being ourselves with them, our true, messy, unorganized, angry or hurt selves sometimes, right? And so I think about the fact that everyone always says that kids can truly be themselves with the people that they're at home with. And so, anytime they're out and about, everybody's like, oh, they're so great. Oh, they're so good. They're such little gentlemen. And they get them home and it's like, like wartime all the time, right? And so knowing that your true self is going to come out with those that you have a home environment relationship with. And so these are going to be the people that you want to have the healthiest relationship with, right? Okay. And so do the people that are in your home environment bring you joy? Do they fill you up? Are you lacking healthy boundaries with these people? I know for me, sometimes it's boundaries in regards to, okay, it is bedtime. I have to have this time to decompress. Or boundaries in regards to other aspects of these relationships. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's things that you have been harboring that maybe you didn't even realize. But it is important for you guys to think about those and look at those and realize, what are these relationships doing in different components or different aspects of my life? And that kind of goes into social life, okay? And so I'm going to step on a little toes here, okay? I'm going to say a little thing that might be like, ooh, that kind of hurt a little bit. That was a little bit of an ouch. And know when I say this that I am speaking to myself as well. But when home environment relationships are lacking, that's oftentimes when we find an imbalance with social life. And so I will tell you that we are made, and I truly believe that fellowship and community is something that we long. You know, when we think back to, to COVID and to all of these things that had happened, quite some time ago, and how isolation kind of impacted the entire world. I do believe that we are supposed to be people that have fellowship and community. I do believe that it takes a village to raise a child. But also, I do believe that the relationships that you have at home need to have priority. And those need to be fixed and good first. Okay? And so when we are lacking in those, I think sometimes we overextend with the social life. Okay? And so I want you to kind of look at your social life as those that are outside the home, but also, are those people tangible to you, or all those people social in means of you having a relationship with someone that is in and on your phone? Okay, so I will tell you firsthand, one of my very, very best friends, we FaceTime every single week. Every week we make it a priority to have that one-on-one, being able to see her and have relation with her. She is miles and miles away, but it is important for me to have that social time with her, right? And so it's different than having social time in your phone, okay? And so it's different to have someone ask you a question that's really hard, that puts you on the spot, that says, how are you? And you don't have to say, oh, I'm fine, right? But the person that you are choosing to have community with, they ask you and they really want to know. And you have to open up and you have to say, well, it's been really crummy, to be quite honest with you. Because that's where true community and social life is supposed to be. And so I encourage you, if you don't have someone that's outside of the home that you can have that relationship with, that you can have community and fellowship and one-on-one time with, it is so important for you. It's so important for your mental health. It's so important for your ability to be physical. Maybe it is when you go and you do something with someone at the gym. Maybe it's, looking back to like creativity. Is this something that, you do with someone and you go out and you guys do like one of the painting with a twist or something like that, where you can, have different elements of the wellness wheel in and together, but you're having a social life that's tangible. So oftentimes we look into our phones to give us something that unfortunately they can't. The facade of a social life and a social relationship with someone that is not actually social and one-on-one can sometimes leave you lacking. And so that is kind of where I wanted to end out today, knowing that this is going to have complete aspects of the wellness wheel integrated all together. And so knowing that these pieces aren't just wedges that we can fill up, but if we fill up one wedge, does it also bleed over and into the other areas that we might be lacking in? And if that is the case, then how does that affect the overall wheel if we have a little wedge of something and we have a big wedge of something else? Okay? So, if you need any quick reviews on the other aspects of the wellness wheel that we've gone over in the weeks past, you can check out those through Facebook, or I will actually link my YouTube channel as well, because I've uploaded those all in one place for you guys to be able to view them a little bit more seamlessly. Next week we will be starting a new series, and so if you have suggestions or ideas, let me know. I have a few that I'm working on, but I haven't quite narrowed down exactly where I think we want to go yet. So if you have any suggestions, tips, things that you want to see, I would be all ears to make those happen. So I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you guys next week.